Hey everybody, Mr. Macintosh here, and this is part 4 of my patched macOS Big Sur on Unsupported Macs video series. Part 1 was everything you need to know about the patcher. Part 2 was using Patched Sur. Part 3 was Big Sur Micropatcher, and this is part 4, how to update your patched Big Sur installation to the latest version of macOS Big Sur. I'm going to go over everything you need to know to get this done. Let's jump in and get started. This video is going to cover two patchers, Ben's Patched Sur and Barry's Big Sur Micropatcher. You can use either way to be able to update your Mac to the latest version, but we're going to start with Ben's Patched Sur and walk through the entire process to get you going. If you are using Open Core Legacy Patcher, you will see the update here in Software Update 11.1, and all you need to do is click Install. That's going to be part 5 of my series. I'm going to go over how to install Open Core Legacy Patcher on your unsupported Mac. Now let's get started here on Ben's Patched Sur. Now I wanted to mention something really important too. Ben is working on an automated update system, so you will no longer in the future have to create a USB and all this other stuff. You're going to just use his application to update, but it's not ready just yet. So stay tuned for more information on that. So what we'll do is we'll just walk through what you need to do now until that update comes out. So we'll close this window. And what you want to do is I'm going to include all the links in the description. You're going to have to go out to Ben's Patched Sur GitHub site, and we're going to scroll down to the latest releases here. We'll click on the latest release, and it'll bring us to the downloads page. We'll scroll down here, and we'll get Patched Sur DMG, and we'll allow it, and it'll go right into the downloads folder. Okay, we'll open it up, and basically this is going to be the same process here as you did when you first patched your Mac. We're just going to go through the process one more time all over again with the latest version of macOS Big Sur 11.1. And if in the future you're watching this, the same thing will be true for 11.2 or 3 or 4. Okay, so we've got our Patched Sur open here. We're going to right click and we're going to click open, and we're going to click open on this, and we're going to get started. We're going to click continue, and we're going to click continue here. Now we want to go on to the release track, continue. Now, this is saying, do you want to perform a clean install or update? We're going to update. Ben's also working on a clean install process too. Now what it's going to do is download the VARS tool and the Kex patches. I'll give it a second here. This is going to allow you to install and update those files after the installation. And we want to patch those just in case something gets patched or changed during the full install process. And we'll run that in the application after the update is finished. Okay, now we have to download the full macOS installer of 11.1 to our system. Now there's a couple of ways we can do this. The good thing about the Patched Sur is we can just click this download button and it will download the installassistant.pkg directly to your Mac and unpack it, and inside is the Install macOS Big Sur installer app. That's how that works. Now I'm going to include a link in the description directly to that new updated installer for 11.1. So if you wanted to download that and keep it on a hard drive or whatever for future use, you could just click this button and you could navigate to that location of the installer and do that. Or you could do older versions. For example, let's say that 11.3 is out, but you didn't want to jump to that right now. You just want to do 11.2 or 11.1. You can do multiple different versions of updates at the time. What we're going to do is to save some time, we've already got our installer over here downloaded to the desktop, so we can just click on other versions and then find the installer, and then we'll navigate to the desktop, and here it is. We'll click open. Okay, the next step, all we need to do is click pre-downloaded installer app that we already have on our desktop. We're going to create the install media on your USB drive. Now the USB drive you can see is over here on the desktop. Let me move this window out of the way. This has got our previous 11.0.1 on it, so you could just use that one that you used originally. Now keep in mind, this part will erase everything on that drive. So if you have an external hard drive or a USB with multiple partitions, you might want to use a different USB flash stick or whatever, because whatever is on that entire drive will be erased at this part. So I don't care because this is the old version here. Okay, so we're going to type in our administrator password to continue here. Continue. Now it's saying which volume would you like to use to be able to create the installer. There's only one, so we're going to click on Install macOS Big Sur, and that's our previous installer. We'll click continue. Now this is telling you that it's going to erase the drive just like I mentioned earlier. We'll click continue, and here we go. Now let's talk about some troubleshooting in this part. In the Discord, there was a couple people saying that there was errors at this part. If you get an error, something about like it only gets to 10%, or it says something about MDS stores, that means that Spotlight indexing is trying to index the USB flash drive or hard drive, and it's in use and it can't erase that. So the best thing to do is eject the drive. So right click eject, plug it back in, and then try the step again. The other thing you could do is try to erase the disk again. In disk utility here, you just open up disk utility, click on the USB stick, and then click erase, and that might help you pass this step. But usually this step goes pretty quickly here. Yeah, so you just click here and then click erase if you wanted to do that. And then if you get the time machine warning, just click out of that. Now it's copying the files from the installer to the USB or hard drive. So let's open up Activity Monitor so we can see what's going on. You don't have to do this. It's just a step that you watch to see what's happening here. And as you can see, it's reading and writing data at 11 to 8 megabytes per second. So it's copying over all the installed media to your USB drive. Now, again, this is all going to depend on what kind of a drive you're using. If you're using an external hard drive, that's going to go very fast. Like, look, now we're picking up a lot of speed. We're at 200 megabytes read-write speed a second, creating that installed media. And wait until this finishes. And we'll click on this X for the time machine back up again. This shouldn't take very long at all, this process. When it's done, you're going to see the read and write drop off 2 kilobytes, and that's when you know it's completed. So we'll give it a second here. Now it's patching the USB, and we're finished. We're ready to go. And look, you can see that the data read write has dropped off dramatically here back down to bytes or kilobytes per second. So you know that we're all done with the copy and the transfer. So we'll close Activity Monitor. We can close out of Patched Sur now, and we'll go into the applications folder so we can see our Patched Sur in here. And this is what we're going to run when we come back up after we're on 11.1. Close this app, we'll close this, and we're ready to reboot. Now, all we need to do is restart and hold down the Option key. And then we're going to boot to our install macOS Big Sur and reinstall over the top of our current installation. When we're done, we'll be on 11.1. So all we'll do here is we'll click Apple and restart. And we're going to hold down the Option key to get our boot picker or our selection menu. Okay, all we need to do is click on Install macOS Big Sur. We'll arrow over and enter. All right, we're in macOS recovery. Now all we need to do is click on Install macOS Big Sur. Continue through the whole process here. Continue. We'll select our internal hard drive, and that's it. Now it's going to copy all the files from the install USB to an internal temporary location, and then it'll reboot the installer and then update to 11.1, and then we'll be back at the login window. And I'll catch up with you when we get there. Okay, the update is complete. We're back at the login window. Let's log in. Okay, you'll notice that you'll see this optimizing your Mac. That's running the Spotlight indexing and all those things. Keep in mind, give your Mac a little bit of time to finish those tasks. You can see when they're running. We can close this window, click on the battery, and you'll see Spotlight is using significant energy. When that's gone, you'll know that your Mac's finished with that task. Now, the first thing we'll notice is that we don't have Wi-Fi. We'll click on this and we're not connected, and that's because, as I mentioned earlier, we have to run the application to apply those patches again. So we'll go into our Macintosh hard drive, we'll go into Applications, and we'll Patched Sur app. We'll right click on it and click Open. We'll click Open. Now all we need to do is click Patch Texts and Continue. And this is the part where we have to click Force Skip Check. Ben's working on that. That's a little bug where it should detect that it's already connected and click OK. But all we need to do is click Force Skip Check right here. We'll type in our administrator password to do the installation and click Continue. There it goes. This will only take a little bit of time, and when it's done, we'll restart, and when we come back up, we'll have Wi-Fi working, and then our update is finished. Now, before we go, we'll open up Terminal so we can see that that update applied properly here. And 11.1, 20C69. All right. Close this window. And the patch text is complete. All we need to do is restart to finished. All right, we're back up. We'll log in. And look at that, we have our Wi-Fi connected. Let's open up a web page here to make sure that we're okay. We're good to go. That's it for updating your unsupported Mac to macOS Big Sur 11.1 using Ben's Patched Sur. Now, let's say that you did Micropatcher. You can still use Ben's Patched Sur to update. But if you wanted to use the Micropatcher, you could use that too to do the update. All you need to do is go to the releases page here and download the release again. Now the difference is here is that we have to create the install media manually like we did before in the Big Sur Micropatcher. Okay, before we create the Big Sur Micropatcher boot disk, we have to erase the drive. So we'll open up Disk Utility, because you got to remember it has the EFI partition still on there. So we have to make sure that we erase that. We'll click Erase at the top level drive. And then we have to click on macOS Extended. And we're done. We'll close Disk Utility, and now we can start creating the install media. So what we'll do is we'll right click on the macOS Big Sur installer, show package contents. We'll go into the contents folder and then resources and then create install media. We'll drag that over to this window, but before we do, we have to run it as an administrator. So we'll type in sudo and then we'll drag it over. And then we have to tell it where to install that. We'll do volume. And then we'll just drag over the USB stick. And then hit enter. Password. And yes, we're going to erase the drive. There we go. We'll be back in a second. Okay, we're done. Now all we need to do is patch the new USB installer. So we'll go over to our folder here. And the first script that we need to run is the micropatcher.sh. So we'll drag that over to the window. And then we need to tell it what to patch. We're going to bring our USB over here and then hit enter. That first step is done. The next step we have to run as the next script we have to run as an administrator. So we'll do sudo space and we'll drag over the install setvar script over. Hit enter. And that's it. It's all patched up. All we need to do is restart to the installer. We'll hold down the option key and we'll boot to the macOS installer from the USB. Alright, so remember, we don't need to run EFI boot because it's all those vars are already set. So all we need to do is arrow over to install macOS Big Sur. Okay, we're in. Now, we're going to skip a step. We already went over to click install to update, right? After we finish this using the Micropatcher way, we have to, after the install is completely finished, we get to the login window, we're still not going to have our Wi-Fi, just like with Patched Sur. So we're going to skip that install step and we'll go to the step where we would have to reboot back to this installer and then go into the terminal and run the patches from the folder. So what we'll do is I'll make this window bigger here. Okay, we'll type in / and then V for volumes, autocomplete by hitting the tab key. And then we will do capital I for image volume and then P for patchkex.sh. And then we do a space and then we do / volumes again and then Macintosh hard drive. M for Macintosh hard drive and then click tab to autocomplete again and hit enter. And that's it. All we need to do is reboot. Okay, we're back in. We'll log in. And we'll go and look, we've got our Wi-Fi already connected. We'll go to Safari and we'll try a page and we're good to go here. That's it. Now's a good time to thank Ben and all the contributors for Patched Sur and Barry and all the contributors for Big Sur Micropatcher. The community really has come together to build an amazing set of patch replacements since DOS2 decided not to work on a patcher this year, and they're only going to get better. This is just the beginning. Again, and especially Ben for answering all my questions when I was working on my video. I really appreciate all your help, Ben. Thank you very much. And that's it. In my 5th video of this series, I'm going to go over how to install OpenCore Legacy Patcher. It's different from Patched Sur and Big Sur Micropatcher, but it's a lot more advanced in the setup or getting it working on your Mac. So that'll be the next video. I hope this created value and this update worked for you guys. Let me know in the comments. Did it work? Are you on 11.1? You got any questions? Let me know. If it worked for you, click on that like button and click on subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And if you're already a subscriber, I really truly appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.